They stole our magic, but the time has come to reclaim it for good. In this video today, we're going to be talking about past lives, dragon souls, and how to heal long-standing karmic patterns and trauma loops in your life. But first, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Hannah, and I help you to empower yourself. And today I'm going to be doing that by hopefully shedding some light on why you experience certain traumatic patterns over and over and over again, and what exactly you can do to heal that, to break that cycle once and for all. So we are going to do a sort of shadow work, healing and integration work towards the end of this video today. And also I'm gonna end it with some healing light language for your integration. So I definitely encourage you to stick around if that sounds good to you. That said, this video comes with a trigger warning. So I will just say up front, this will be covering some very sensitive topics. If you are sensitive right now, particularly to topics surrounding sexual assault, sexual abuse, maybe wait to watch this until you are in a better headspace. But that said, this video is intended to be alchemy. We're going into the shadows so that we can bring light to them. We can heal them once and for all. It is my intention, yes, to take you through the shadows, but we're gonna lift you up by the end of the video and hopefully spark some aha moments on why you may have had experiences such as these in your life. So to get started, just to be clear up front, you are not just a human. If you have been following me for a while, you already know that. If you are new, however, maybe this comes as a surprise. So just to debrief there, we all have very different incarnations. We are multidimensional beings. We have parallel lives, past lives, future lives, not just as humans, you know, as males, as females, as animals, as humans, as aliens, as so many different beings, including magical or mythical creatures, which aren't mythical after all. So if that is a topic that is new to you and you're curious to learn more, I would recommend maybe first checking out my The Dragons Are Back video, which I will link up here, where I talk about that a little more in depth. But to summarize, essentially at one point on Earth, creatures like dragons and unicorns, mermaids, fairies, they all existed. That's why we can find these creatures, these mythical beings, in so many different cultures across the world, even though they weren't actually kind of interacting with each other. So these beings existed at one time. And if you are watching this video and if you've made it this far, that is not by chance. Likely you have had an incarnation as one of these beings. Likely you've had many incarnations as beings such as these. And with that comes a lot of trauma, unfortunately, because it is not easy to be a magical being on Earth at this time. And there was this dissension around the fall of Atlantis, where we went into really dense energies on Earth. And it was at this time that these magical, mythical beings, they left us. And many of us have traumas from incarnations that we had as these magical beings around that time, or shortly after that time, or even leading up to that time. It was kind of a very rough transition period for the Earth for a few hundred years or so around that point. So all this is to say, I noticed some parallels between being one of these magical beings and also patterns, traumatic patterns that we tend to experience now as humans. So the purpose of this video is to help you identify if you experience these patterns, these loops in your life now, likely that hints toward an incarnation or multiple incarnations where you were one of these magical beings and you experienced a lot of trauma. And through connecting with that version of yourself, you're able to integrate, you're able to love yourself more, and you're able to break the patterns once and for all. So my intention for doing this video is to help as many people as possible to break these patterns, because it's time. We have carried this weight in our hearts, in our energy for far too long, and it is time to free ourselves. It's time to reclaim the magic that we are. So I actually got the seed for this video almost a solid year ago now. During my sexual assault, physical assault experience that I talk about more in detail if you want to learn more about that, up here in this video, I was attacked. So in short, when I was at the climax of this experience where it was completely dark, I was alone, I was underneath this man that was assaulting me, and I thought I was going to die, I had flashes, PTSD flashes of a past life as a dragon here on Earth. And just how this dragon's magic, this dragon, I guess that was me, how its magic was just siphoned away, how it was taken, and how that experience that I was in the process of experiencing then as this human Hannah was mirroring that. It was evoking that energy. And I also, like, there was so much that went through my mind and my energy at this time. It's like time stopped existing. And I felt the ripple effect too. I felt how it was so connected, not just for me, but for so many people on this planet that have these sexual traumas, so shall we say, that are related to these past and parallel lives as a magical being, having your magic taken away, having your magic siphoned. And so I was honestly really scared to make this video, and I still am a little bit, honestly, because it's a really sensitive topic that no one really talks about. And likely also this topic of having the parallel lives as magical beings, that's going to sound totally crazy to some people. So it's like a doubly loaded video this time. There's a lot of resistance to posting this, and it just didn't feel right to do so this whole past year. I was also still processing the trauma that had come up as a result of this assault. But now, a solid year later, I feel like I'm in a good place with it. Like I have enough distance, enough space to talk about this with a clear head and clear energy. And also, I feel like the timing is perfect, because if you watched my video up here that I just did, September 2025 energy update video, I did a long section in that video talking about spiritual attack and how you might see an increase in spiritual attack this particular month. And if you're watching this at another time, it's possible that it could be amping up at that time as well. And so essentially this video also is meant to arm you against these sort of attacks, so that you know what to do if, God forbid, one of these terrible situations manifests in your life. You can approach it, you can attack it in a very confident and spiritual way. So I want you to really sit with your body for this next part of the video, and just set the intention now with your higher self, with your spirit team, with your parallel lives, that you will be connected with the truth, with your truth here, and that you will be connected to the most potent parallel life self right now that needs you, that wants to be integrated right now. Once you've done that, we can proceed. So first, it comes down to recognizing this pattern of trauma in your life. There's a few different flavors of this pattern, this theme, that could manifest if you have one of these parallel lives where you were a magical creature and your magic was siphoned. However, all of these different flavors, they really come back to like this one core, this one root energy. And that energy is theft. So this can manifest in many different ways, but there's 3 in particular that I want you to look out for that we're going to kind of focus on today. And I would say each one is like a tier up from the next. So likely if you have the first one, you could have like 1 incarnation where this happened, perhaps. If you have the second, you probably have quite a few incarnations. If you have the third, you probably have a lot of incarnations that have experienced this and that are calling for your integration, because basically each one is a little denser than the last. And the more density that is there, that means like the stronger these patterns have become, the more incarnations are involved here, if that makes sense. So tier 1, a pattern that you may have experienced in your life is that you spark jealousy in people. You spark the evil eye in people. This is a form of theft. It's a very light form of theft, but when people are kind of looking at you jealously, they're stealing, or at least attempting to steal from you. They want what you have. Jealousy, if I understand it, kind of breaking down the word, it literally means like, oh, you have what I want, so I'm going to take it from you. Whereas envy, on the other hand, from what I understand, envy is more of a healthy manifestation of this. It's like, oh, you have what I want that too. I'm not going to take it from you, but I want that too. And I'm inspired now to have it for myself. But jealousy is a very low vibrational energy with theft involved. So the next tier up, tier 2 here, is literal theft. Like you have a pattern of like literally getting things stolen from you. And this is one that, yeah, it's been very prevalent for myself, to the fact I've noticed recently that this has been coming up for healing, because sometimes I just honestly, like I will lose something and my first thought will be like, oh, did XYZ, did like this friend that was over steal it? Did someone steal it? And immediately I know, I'm like, that is so not true. That is low vibrational. That is ridiculous. But that's how traumatized I am with having stuff stolen, because I've had a lot of things physically stolen from me ever since I was a very small child. So it really runs deep in the energy. And just like me with this PTSD, with this trauma that still comes up, even though I'm out of these situations with these toxic people stealing stuff from me, I still have such strong echoes of it. My mind always goes there first, immediately. If that is you, when you're immediately like, hey, someone stole it from me, rest assured, you have like probably many incarnations that are ready for you to integrate them. That is a good indication that they're ready for you to integrate them now. So tier number 3, this is the most intense, the heaviest, densest tier. And this is the one that I had the most resistance, of course, to talking about as a result, because I'm even afraid like my video might get flagged or something just mentioning this, but it is sexual assault and sexual abuse. And I know that these energies, people don't talk about them very much, but they are quite common, especially in the spiritual community and with men and women alike, because a lot of times it's talked about just with women, but so many men deal with the same thing. They're just even more quiet about it because it's, that much more taboo for a man to experience this. But yeah, sexual assault, sexual abuse, know that if you have experienced this, my heart goes out to you. I see you, I feel you, I've been there. This is the top tier. I don't want to go too in depth in this. There's really no need. If you know, you know, right? If you know, you know. But I will say, if this one is you and you've noticed a pattern of sexual assault, sexual abuse in your life, this is a good indication. You have many, many incarnations that have experienced this and probably really, really traumatic ways that have left this imprint on your soul. And so what is happening here is that your soul sees this almost as comfortable, as messed up as that is. Your soul sees it as comfortable because in all these incarnations, it's had kind of this imprint of energy. And now it's recreating these patterns, these cycles, because it feels safe in some twisted way. It feels safe in a very twisted way. But know that in this video is my intention. We are going to break these patterns once and for all. So now we're going to do some powerful shadow work integration together. Typically, this is something I would just save for like one-to-one client work or group work, more of a safe container. But again, I feel the time is so potent right now that it is time to share this work with the collective. And I think the collective is ready for it and it needs it. It is so time to just lay this stuff to waste once and for all. So I hope that this helps you, and that if it does, you're able to share it with others and create this beautiful ripple effect of healing and integration. So first, what you want to do, and I would recommend placing your hand or hands on your heart this whole time, just letting your heart know you're there. Know that your heart is a direct portal to source, to God, to the universe, to unlimited love and abundance and truth. And so when you're physically touching your heart, you're grounding that energy. You're bringing yourself into that energy. So it's not just some silly gesture. It is very powerful healing work, frequency work. So I recommend that you place your hands on your heart and just very briefly, let's summon the hottest issue here, the hottest pattern. So you can think about those 3 different tiers I brought up, and maybe it's a recent trigger in alignment with one of these patterns, or maybe it's a really old trauma that still plagues you to this day that you still have PTSD over. But I want you to summon that now. Summon the hottest topic. Know that you are loved as you do this, that you are held by your higher self, your guides, by myself and my guides, by everyone that's engaging with this video and their guides. You are not alone in this. We are not alone in this. We are healing together. So just observe this pattern for a moment. Take yourself back to the scene, and we're going to breathe through it in 3 breaths. Inhaling, exhaling the pain. Inhale light energy, golden energy. Exhale any density that's being kicked up right now. Inhale and exhale. Grounding yourself into your heart space. Now choosing, if you haven't already done so, to see this pattern from a higher perspective. Remove yourself from the scene, see it from a higher perspective. And from this higher perspective, you're going to ask the parallel past life version of you, whatever being you may have been, to step forward now. The one that is linked to this specific pattern, this trauma reoccurring in so many of your lives and in this life in particular. And watch now as this being steps forward. Notice your first impressions, any images that come to mind, feelings, just hits of knowing. We can receive psychic information in so many different ways. Know that there's no right or wrong way to receive this information. Just follow what is coming up for you. And now I want you to look this version of yourself in the eyes. See them, see their soul, see their pain. Witness their pain. Feel it. Breathe through it in one intentional breath. Inhaling. Exhaling. And then I want you to give this version of you a moment to speak. Let it voice its pain, its concerns, its hopes for you even, whatever it wants to share. Let's give it a few moments to share in silence. You can pause this video if you need a little more time, but if not, you can thank this part of you for sharing now, sending it your love, sending it your gratitude. And then you can imagine now you are embracing. You can physically hug yourself, embrace yourself, even if it feels silly. And just feel as you bring this part of you back now, back to center. It's been lost for so long, but no more. You get to be whole now. You get to be safe now. You get to be sovereign now. You get to be free now. You are so loved. And then to officially close this healing, this integration, I want you to come up with a mantra. You can say, I choose something, something. So it could be, I choose myself. I choose love. I choose forgiveness. I choose freedom. Whatever is resonating with your soul right now, take a moment to receive that mantra and then speak it aloud. And know that as you speak this aloud, it becomes so, becomes your reality. And these are now like magic words. You can speak this mantra. Anytime you notice these old patterns coming up, flaring up, threatening to bring you back down to that lower vibration, back to that trauma, the traumatized state, simply speak your mantra, say it aloud, say it in your mind, and allow it to bring you back to this healed, integrated, empowered state of being, knowing that you are truly free now. You are healed. You are loved. You are safe. This is your time. So you can slowly come back to presence. You can take a moment to ground yourself before continuing the video if you feel you need it. If not, know that now that you've healed and you've integrated with this wounded part of yourself, what to do so that you never lose your magic again. Number one, know that you can't actually lose your magic. It's just an illusion of the dark. It's just an illusion that they can ever take something from you. And so I want you to know, if you've dealt with any of this, if you've dealt with sexual assault, if you've dealt with theft, they can't actually take anything from you. You are not broken, you are whole. In fact, you are, in a sense, augmented by these experiences because they make you that much more resilient, that much more of a badass. You are an alchemist if you experience things like this. You have the ability to turn all of that dark energy into gold. So know that there was never any magic actually lost. It was all just an illusion. And now that veil of illusion gets to just go away. We can release that now. We don't need it anymore, right? Your magic is infinite and your magic is you. And no one can ever actually take anything from you unless on some level you are giving it to them. So I spoke on this in that September 2025 energy update video, but I will say again, just like with the spiritual attack, you are only susceptible to this theft energy if you on some level are giving your power away. So even though I've dealt with all of the tiers many, many times and just had a wide range of flavor of these experiences, I don't feel any less for these experiences. I feel that much more empowered, in fact, because each experience tested my resolve. Each experience kind of refined me like a blade. And now I really know who I am, and I know with every fiber of my being that my magic can never actually be taken from me. And now I can go out into the world with that confidence, with that energy, and inspire others like yourself to reclaim that same energy. So know that if you make the choice, I'm not going to give my energy away anymore, it is done. And have compassion with yourself, because you might still manifest experiences of that. Know that it's testing your resolve, because this has been ingrained in all of us for so long. It's in the overculture, the underculture, the collective energies. We have been trained out of our power. We have been brainwashed out of our power, out of our sovereignty. We've all been kind of brainwashed to be slaves, essentially, where we just give our power away freely to others, but no more. This is the silent rebellion. This is the moment when you get to call that power back for good. Are you with me? Let me know in the comments. So if this is really resonating with you and you're feeling like it's a safe space with me, you're feeling this connection, you're ready to step into that sovereignty and never look back, I am taking on new applicants for my one-to-one mentorship, The Path of the Dragon Mage, right now. So this is a very, very powerful, transformative, alchemical container. And essentially, as I've learned after this first round of doing it, it's like an attunement. Just like there's an attunement in Reiki where you get attuned to these different levels of Reiki. Basically, in the Path of the Dragon Mage, you get attuned to all the different 9 dragon elementals, as well as the golden dragon energies. And you can then use those energies freely as you see fit to help yourself and the collective. So I invite you to join that. I'm taking applications for the next few weeks, most likely. Spots are limited. At max, I'm going to take on 3 people. So if you're feeling the call, I'd encourage you to apply now. I will leave a link in the description below. You can also find it anytime on my website. And even if you're watching this and it's no longer September 2025, I'd encourage you to apply anyways, because who knows, maybe whenever you're seeing this, I actually do have openings again, and we could actually work together. So I'm gonna finish us off with some light language to just like zip up that healing, that integration with a nice little pretty bow. But before we do that, I'm curious again, if you wanna let me know in the comments, what past life version of yourself did you connect with? Like, I'm genuinely curious to know. I'm curious to see like what sorts of beings are coming up in my audience most prominently. Like, is it mostly dragon people, or do we have some mermaid people, some unicorn people, some fairy people, and beyond? I'm really, really curious what came up for you guys today. If you feel called to share, know that I will do my best to create a very safe space, a safe container for you to share. So with all of that said, my friend, just allow yourself to receive now. I'm going to finish off with some dragon light language for your healing. tana mui sakatara si no ya tolu usunaya. Na na la, na la la, na la la. Tana mama sakata sakata usunaya tala. Esana, 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 esana. Ekuma mama ekalak ikutu usukata nayatala. Eta la tuna yakatale utuna yata. Kana asuna yatala usu. Yatana mama wesana itana wusana yetala. La ta mama ikunu usuna ati. Yata la la yatala la natala la yatu la kuna mamwe sana isa. Yatala etuna yatela nakatnara esuna yatula etula katane isana mama muitala. I love you. I see you. Keep on keeping, my friend, and stay powerful.